Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. And we're not exactly sure what's going to happen today. Quite a few of the boys have come in. Tony Simons, ladies and gentlemen. Ray, welcome to the show. And what do you think of the game yesterday?
Oh, it was a tremendous game until half-time, but I suppose Tiger fans wouldn't agree, but the game died a major death in the second half because it was a one-sided affair from half-time on. Unfortunately, the Roosters just stopped to a walk after half-time. They gave it their best shot in the first 1.5 quarters, and that was about the end of the penny section.
Okay, Doug Thomas, what do you think of the game?
Yeah, I think Ray just about summed it up.
You two getting along?
Pretty well.
No, of course not. No, we've put you together today.
I tried to get someone to sit between us, but I couldn't arrange it. But never mind.
There's a big space there.
I thought that they were very undisciplined after half-time, North Adelaide, and that let them down. And I think also, which should be said, and something has got to be done about it, the 6-day break for a preliminary final, for a team to meet a grand finalist, can't go on. Somewhere along the way, something's got to be done about that, so that everything seems to, not only justice has to be done, it has to be seen to be done. There has to be a 7-day break between the two games. Has to be.
Okay, two of the guys that are going to introduce the players. Firstly, Tony McGuinness, what happened yesterday?
Well, mates, we won a Granny.
All right. How'd you go last night? Just give us an idea of what happened last night. Not at about 3 o'clock, because we've heard something happened at 3 o'clock. We'd like to know what happened prior to 3 o'clock.
We were in a high street. The boys had a big night, obviously, and I guess everyone was up till pretty late, and it's certainly a wonderful feeling, and it's a great experience. Sure.
What, 3 o'clock or the grand final?
Oh, both. No, it really went well. We had a great night.
Morning, Chris.
Hello, mate.
You fine? Looking at the game, the first quarter, you must have been very concerned at quarter time.
Yeah, a bit, I suppose. We gave away a few free kicks, I suppose, to... one, Alan Stringer did, I suppose. But I think we settled down. Probably, a bit nervous, I guess. And we settled down probably halfway through the second quarter and sort of started playing footy after that, I guess.
How tough was the third quarter?
Kernahan got a bit excited, I think. He was trying to throw his weight around, but I think we sort of knew by then that, we were a chance, I guess.
Chris, were you surprised with how easily the Roosters gave in when they did actually capitulate? They gave in without a fight after half-time, didn't they?
Yeah, probably a bit. It's hard to say. We've sort of been there before, I guess, and you think when the side's kicking a few, kicking goals and that, you sort of think, oh, here we go. And you probably think, well, it's good to make it. They haven't been there for so long.
Chris, to be 5 down and get back was a great effort. You watch you kick 7 without a miss.
Yeah, the end of the second quarter, we kicked 5 in 5 minutes or something like that. That was,
that was really the turning point, wasn't it? The turning point of the side.
Yeah, sure.
Tony, why don't the boys like Tony Angelis? What's wrong with him? He's a nice little fella.
He's a good bloke, isn't he?
But everyone wanted to be with him yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. That's not a bad lad, but that's not a bad question. I don't know. He's one of the guys, I guess, that we had to stop, and if he's there to be hit, I guess like anybody else is on their side and our side, he was, and he just happened to be there to be hit a few more times than anyone else.
Well, at first it looked as though he might win the game for North Adelaide because you blokes were chasing him and you were undisciplined and you gave away a good few frees, but it paid off in the second half because I noticed several times he had the ball in the middle and the bodies came at him and he was really confused and he didn't know what to do next. And so really the hard tackling in the end wore Angelis and most of the other North players down.
Well, yeah, certainly. Like I said, he's one of their more talented players, and he certainly had to be stopped. But we were probably a little undisciplined early, I guess. But the third quarter was the real important part of the game, I guess, and we all knew that, and we kept our eyes on the ball during that quarter. And obviously, it's paid dividends.
It must have been at the wrong game. I thought you had your eyes on one or two other things during the course of the third quarter.
Well, I really thought that we were probably a little more disciplined than North were in that third quarter.
I'd agree with you 100%.
I think that set set up the win.
Just like some of the incidents that happened, you still had your eyes on the ball. Says you were pretty good then if you had your eyes on the ball and hitting what you were hitting.
Well, shot me down in flames.
Okay, Doug. Now, guys, can you introduce the players for us? And just tell us a little bit about their backgrounds or what happened last night.
Lead the way, Chris.
All right, well, we'll lead away with Michael Murphy, who's probably the best performer last night. Probably hasn't been to bed yet, so Murphy can sort of walk past and give a wave to everybody.
You can just stay there, Mike. Okay.
Next bloke is our centreman come wingman come half forward flank David Marshall, who I'm sure had a very enjoyable night last night. David?
Put your hands together as they come through, everyone.
Next bloke is Robin Kidney, who played a great game yesterday, and also will probably play the piano a bit later on for us all.
Our next bloke is our erstwhile Pegger Ross Gibbs. Hi, Ross, good morning.
Next bloke hiding in the background is our resident slab, and that's Tony Hall.
Our next bloke is resident tough man come... he missed out yesterday, he's a bit upset about that, but he had a good night. David Holst.
John Seabone is the next fellow who happens to get married next week, and there's a bit of a buck show on next Friday night for anybody at the Grenfell Tavern, anybody that's interested.
The next bloke who unfortunately missed out yesterday, but certainly has a big future, is Mark Donovan. The other way.
They're all like that inside, we can't see that.
Well, turn around, just turn your head the opposite way. It's pretty,
It's not that easy.
it's pretty straightforward.
Next bloke is Peter Maynard from Shepparton, and never short of a word. And thanks, mate.
The next bloke is our resident ace, and who's taken over the role as the king of the aces this year, Tony Simons.
The next bloke is former North Adelaide champion and now Glenelg champion and cracker of a few heads, Alan Stringer.
The next one is David Kernahan, who went through a pretty rough test on Thursday night, but really, I'm sure enjoyed the game. Well done, dude.
Next bloke is another North Adelaide custodian, custodian Wayne Stringer, who donated these t-shirts for us.
The next bloke is... Where did you play yesterday, Scoop?
I can't remember, mate.
Scotty doesn't really like Scott. No, Scott Salisbury.
The next fella is Ked Copping from Lucendale, also getting married in a couple of weeks. Well, a couple of months.
Next bloke is our vice captain and our champion centre half forward, Stephen Kernan, who had a terrific night and got home at 6 o'clock.
And the next bloke, we're not sure what his name is. He's a new bloke around the club. He's played in a couple of grand finals, I think, and he's a legend down at Glenelg. So I won't even introduce him. Here he is, super.
Okay, well, we're going to take a break now and we'll be back with hopefully some rather interesting interviews. You're watching Sports Scene here on 10.
Nature, a wild and free, no matter the team that we have to play. Our skills and sheer guts will win on the day. Our lead sides, our seconds, thirds, and our coach.
Welcome back. Well, one player that's played an important part down at the Bay for many years is Peter Carey. And Peter, thanks for coming along. Let's just have a look at the game. I've asked the other guys before, were you really concerned at quarter time?
Well, not so much at quarter time, Max. I think we were 2 goals down at quarter time, kicking with a breeze in the second quarter. So, I thought we were still pretty well in at quarter time.
Peter, in the first quarter and a bit, you had your hands full with Mike Redden. He was doing well, and And it seemed the change came when he went off the ball for a bit of a spell and Brealey came on, and you both got about 4 goals on the trot. Did that have an effect? Did you feel more confident up against Brealey than you did against Redden?
Yeah, I think we really started working the ball out of the centre square in the second half of the second quarter, and it certainly made a difference. Once we started getting the ball out of centre, we started getting the ball moving a bit quicker, and certainly well.
Were the North Adelaide players a bit tentative after there were some pretty heavy clashes? Did you notice in the centre there that they weren't handling the ball properly?
Sorry, boys, I've got an urgent message here.
Message?
It's for David Holst. If you could report to the police station in Angus Street, your car's been knocked off. And the police want to get in touch with you. Okay, thanks very much. So, I want to say go to my mum and everyone at Sturt College.
Okay, Stephen Kernahan, congratulations. Best on the ground. How did you see the game?
Yeah, it's obviously great, Max. It was something we've worked up to for a long time now, and we completed our ambition, and it's a real thrill to win.
Okay, we won't push this issue too far, but still undecided about your future?
Yeah, I'm going to celebrate this for a couple of weeks, and then I'll make an announcement.
Okay, what about your future, Peter?
Oh, it's looking pretty rosy, mate.
Stephen, you've got 2 years left.
Oh, at least 2.
Okay, the club last night, apparently there was about 15,000 there?
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. There's people everywhere, you just couldn't move. I'd say there was at least 15,000 people there. It was just absolutely unbelievable.
You personally, it's been a long time, 1973. We're going to have to wait that long for the Bays to do it again?
No, I thought 1986 would be nice, Max. No, I really think, we've got a great side at the moment, and, we'll be back in the hunt next year.
Great. Okay, Bomber Clifford's with us, and I understand Bomber's got the big man, Harry Kernahan.
Yes, that's right, Max. It's pretty hard for me to interview a big bloke like this because I really hate Glenelg. I shouldn't say that. But I don't. Come over here, Harry. Anyhow, you had a good start to the week. Anyhow, if you tell everyone about it.
Hey, just a minute, what are you, one of the Ray Fewings mobs that hates Glenelg?
I think he's got something against you, mate.
Oh, he's a knocker.
But you had a good start to the week. Anyhow, if you'd like to tell everyone what happened.
Oh, well, I thought this was going to be a great week because at 2:30 last Monday morning, my daughter-in-law produced a magnificent son, and for Annette and I, and it was a start for a week. She's right here at the moment. Come here, Carmi. Come on. She's come out of hospital for a couple of hours to celebrate. The young fella's beautiful, isn't he? What do you think, Carmi?
Oh, I don't know.
I think she's very darn shy, actually.
Yeah.
But it was a good day yesterday, and the boys performed very well. Bloke that's missing around here is Graham Corns. Did he have much to say to the players in that last night at all?
No, not too much at all. There were a few players late last night for the official function, and they had to report this morning to the match committee at 7 o'clock, and they were fined accordingly.
Is that all you're going to say on that, is it?
That's all I'm going to say.
But it was a good win overall. We always hear what the younger players get up to as far as celebration, but you never hear what the older style type blokes do.
Well,
now, what did you do yesterday?
The older style type blokes are getting wiser as they get older, Bomber, and I feel very well at the moment.
Well, I'm pretty much.
I can't say that for some of the young fellas.
And what are we going to look for next year from Glenelg? The same sort of thing, we hope.
Well,
I don't hope. You hope.
Well,
Be stuck for words.
No, I'm not stuck for words. No, Bomber, look. The boys have got together. They've regrouped. There's a great side there at the moment. There's no reason why they won't go on with it.
That's good. And what's in store this afternoon?
Well, you better ask the young fellas because, as I said earlier, I'm wiser and older, and I know what I'll be doing.
All right, that's all from Harry and myself. We'll get back to. And you can put that contract away too. Back to you, Max.
Thanks very much, Bomber. And later, Bomber will be doing a little commercial for us. We're not too sure exactly what it is, but that's coming up in the second half hour. We're going to take another break, and then we'll have a look at all the highlights of yesterday's game.
You're on, Max.
straight into the highlights. A big win by the Bays, 57 points, and here are the highlights.
It was North who was expected to show the early nerves, but scored the first major through the left-footed David Robertson. Parsons too tall, and the Roosters had two. Moments later, Parsons again a free kick, and it was 3 goals without reply. Stephen Hay caught holding the ball, and the subsequent free kick to McGuinness started the ball rolling. Now Stephen Copping unsighted early, but accepted the handball to convert a left-foot snap. But the Roosters replied with a great fresh air goal to Brearley at quarter time, North Adelaide by 11 points. In the second quarter, and North opened brilliantly. Antrobus, the handball to Sanders, and they extend the lead to 17 points. The Roosters advanced to a 29-point lead before the Bays began an unbelievable comeback. First Garton to set it rolling, then Garton again a great snap. The Bays were on fire, this time Hall across to Maynard for 4 points. And when Stephen Kernahan marked and converted, the Bays had turned a 29-point deficit into a 12-point lead at half-time. The Bays continued their dominance into the third quarter, and by three-quarter time it set up a 5-goal lead. The Roosters stayed in touch with a top snap to David Sanders. But it was the day of the Tiger, and they had all the answers. And it was Stephen Kernahan who was leading the way in possibly his last game in South Australia. Well before the siren, the Bays knew they had the flag. Copping to McDermott, takes the mark and the push and the goal.
Hasn't kicked the goal, McDermott. He has now. They go again.
Seabohm to Salisbury, to Maynard. And again it's Kernahan who finishes it off.
Number 6 for the champ. It is 6 goals, Stephen Kernahan.
One of the best snaps of the day came from the boot of Tony Hall.
Here's a chance for the Bays to get another one. Tony Hall shoots. I think he's got another one. Oh, what a goal off his left foot. The Bays can do no wrong. They're walking on water.
Now Hall again, the long kick, and Kernahan who borrows Stephen Copping's arms.
His 7th goal. It's been an all-consuming performance today by Kernahan. 7 goals, 3 to the champion half-forward, 20 goals for Glenelg.
And if that wasn't enough, Wayne Henwood wanted to get into the action as well.
Dermott, Henwood. He can kick a ball out of sight too. That's going straight through. Huge goal, Henwood. He took 2 places with that whip bang. 21-14.
At a few minutes past 5, Cornsy's Tigers entered the record books.
Glenelg win it. 21-15 to North Adelaide. 12.
Yes, some great highlights there, and we thought we better have a look at some of the women that played such a big part in this grand final, and who better than to talk to women, a bit of a girl himself. Let's go over to Mike Smithson.
Oh, thanks very much, Max. Love the comment. I'm not the one wearing the pink jumper, of course. A bit worried about that. I know a lot of the guys around here are as well. As you say, we have some of the wives here. On my right, the lady on my right who made an entrance onto the ground after the match, in fact, Pam Corns. Pam, welcome along this morning. Oh, old war injury
What's
here.
that knee, Mike? What's
Yeah,
that
it's all right. It's okay. Now, tell me, how's Graham been the last week? Hard to get along with?
Oh, he's always pretty hard to get along with, but no, he's remained the same as he has all year, fairly constant. Win, lose or draw, he's been the same.
But I guess the pressure in the last week, so to speak, would have been a little more intense than during the rest of the season?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Thursday and Friday he was pretty uptight, but Saturday morning he was good and had some rock and roll music on the way to the footy and things like that. So he hasn't been too bad, really.
And we noticed that after the match, very soon after the match, you dashed onto the oval. Fortunately, it wasn't a stripper, as was seen at the VFL Grand Final once. Was that pre-planned? Had that in mind, or just an impulse?
No, well, Graham acknowledged me after the game and told me to stand. He knew where I was sitting, so he told me to stand, and he was coming forward and said, come over, so Graham, another friend, lifted me over, and there I was.
Great. And further down the list here, we have Linda Carey, Peter Carey's lovely wife. How's it been for you this week? Peter been a bit uptight?
Peter's been very uptight, very nervous.
How did this grand final rate, for instance, against the 73 grand final? Has Peter been able to, or has he treated the build-up to it any differently than back in 73?
Well, I didn't know Peter when he was in the 73 grand final.
But this week he's sort of been calm, relaxed, and how did he...
He hasn't been calm and relaxed. He's been very nervous about it.
Well, it was a great effort. Well, it's time for a break now. Max will be back after the break with more of Sports Scene. Back with us, and we've got Graham Corns with us at the moment. Graham, certainly is the most exciting time for you. Without getting too deep, what's hardest? Kicking the goal that wins the grand final, or being the coach of the grand final side?
Hardest? I think coaching's hardest. But there's a much bigger thrill with the other thing.
You're glad it's all over, because yesterday at certain stages of the game you were particularly tense. In fact, at one stage I wondered whether there were three-corner jacks on the bench. You were up off it a few times in the first quarter and a half anyway.
Halfway through the second quarter I was pretty uptight. I just wasn't happy about the way we were playing and some of the things that were going against us. But as the game got on,
did you ever hit the panic button because you used both of your interchange players in the first quarter? No doubt you were looking for the right sort of blend to get things moving, and things weren't happening. Although the first quarter you could have been in front, couldn't you? Because the first three kicks could easily have been goals, and they were points instead.
I thought, we started very well, but in North Adelaide, as they have been doing all year, just started to get their goals too quickly and too easily. And I was concerned when we were 5 goals down in the second quarter. There's no doubt about that.
What do you think at half time? Do you think it was in the bag, but we were afraid to tell the boys?
It wasn't in the bag. I just thought we had a chance that we'd come back with 2 goals in front. It was then a matter of making the most of the third quarter.
Graham, not the most important.
So a bit of trouble with the background.
Sorry, not only have you won a premiership, but you have in fact created history. You're the only homegrown Glenelg product to ever coach a grand final.
Yes, well, I'm glad that's happened, because I really have often thought that it could have happened a lot of times before, and for one reason or another, it never did.
It got away from you. But I was just trying to think back. Have there been?
They're allowed to do it.
That bit of ice would have sunk the Titanic. Graham,
was it? Just tell me. Was it Chris McDermott?
Yes, it was. When you were coaching South and the offer came to coach the Bays, did it take much thought to switch over, or was it an automatic thing?
It really was a bad time for me at that stage, because I've had a couple of really good years with South Adelaide. I had a lot of time for the guys, had a lot of time for the administration there, but at the same time I had an opportunity to go back that might not come again, so take it.
All right, it's all over for 85 and you winners. How long before you start worrying about 86? Because you've got a few queries. You've got Stephen Kernahan. I haven't had a chance to speak with Steve Copping, but I understand that he's a bit keen on being a farmer instead of a footballer. Can you do some fast talking?
No, look, I think it's too early. They've been so committed since midway through the season. I think what they need is a chance to enjoy enjoy what's happening, and we'll get a few weeks break, and we'll start thinking about next year then.
All right, we'll take a short break while we try and get rid of the ice.
We're not going to take a break. We've got a bit of a surprise here for you. Apparently, we brought a piano along, and Robin Kidney. Robin Kidney. Come on, Robin. Something we all know, Robin. All right, we're going to take another break and we'll be back right after this. Thank you.
Show me, tiger, how to kiss you.
Once again, welcome back, and let's go over to Bomber Boy, and he's in the crowd with Stephen Copping.
Thanks, Max. So I left the bread at home, that Bomber Boy bread at home, but we've got Stephen Copping. I'm in amongst quite a few players here, as you can see. We've got Stephen Copping here for us. How'd you enjoy yesterday, Steve?
Yeah, it was good to be on the winning side for a change, Bomber.
Well, Essendon won over the border. How'd you enjoy your stay at Essendon? Because a lot of players don't get the opportunity to go over there. And how'd you like it over there anyhow at Essendon?
No, it was a great 2.5 years and good experience, but left at the wrong time as far as that goes. But good to be back here, and we won over here, so it was good.
Do you think I'm doing as good a job as Jacko would? I haven't got the haircut, but still, he doesn't wear makeup either. But you're getting married in a couple of weeks? Is that true?
A couple of months.
Couple of months.
Yeah.
And how do you rate that compared to a premiership? I hate to put you on the spot. I can see your lovely fiancé over there.
Always finish on top.
I think you summed it up there, I think.
I don't like the flanks at all, mate, eh? But, well, how did you find on a quieter note, you played under Sheedy, who, I don't know your thoughts on him, and you played under Graham Corns. How do you compare both of them?
Well, they're two different types of coaches, I suppose, but every coach is different, and I just appreciate playing under both of them, and it's great to have a win after so long.
And just finishing off, what do you plan doing next year? Or in a couple of months, anyway?
Well, no, we'll be still around the place, and hopefully look forward to next year.
And you've enjoyed your stay at Glenelg, and you'll stay there for another couple of years anyhow?
Yeah, it's been tremendous, and look forward to the future.
So it's back to you, Max. I'll do a bit more roving a bit later. See if I can dig some other players up somewhere along the line.
Okay, thanks, Bomber. Last night down at the Bay, they had a pretty big affair. When we say an affair, not quite an affair, but there was about 5,000 people there. Let's have a look at just what went on down at the Bay.
just twice for the last 55 years. We've given you occasion to be happy and to celebrate our good performances. And generally, over the last 12 to 13 years, there's been lots of disappointments. We can't apologise for that because all you can do on the day is try your hardest. But there's no doubt that the end of the war by today's players was outstanding. It's really given you a success that two people deserve. Have a good night and enjoy it. The players certainly know they deserve it. They will enjoy it. And I just thank you for coming down here and all to celebrate it. Have a good night.
Yes, must have been a great night down at the Bay. My invitation must have gone astray somewhere in the mail, but obviously Mike Noonan did ring me and ask me to come along to theirs, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. We're going to take another break and we'll be right back with Dick Jones.
A tiger. He's big, he's mean, and he's strong. They stay out of his way, and
Before we welcome another guest, Graham Corns just wants to say hello to someone in hospital.
Right, thanks, Max. Mum and Dad came all the way from Melbourne to see yesterday's game, and Mum went up to hospital yesterday for just a small thing. She stayed in for 2 or 3 days, so I just want to say hi, Mum. I'm sorry you couldn't make it, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Right, that community service brought to you by the Glenelg Football Club. Well, for many years in South Australia it was comment Wally May, but these days it's Dick Jones. Dick, thanks for coming along. How did you see the game yesterday? Obviously from the stand, but how did you see it?
I thought Glenelg thoroughly deserved their victory, Max. I don't believe that North Adelaide capitulated. I believe that North Adelaide were beaten by a better side on the day. You only play as good as your opposition will let you, and Glenelg just didn't let North Adelaide into the game after half-time. End of the story. I believe that one Glenelg player who hasn't received enough accolades is Wayne Henwood. I thought Henwood was that close to best on ground. I gave it to Stephen Kernahan, but Henwood played a magnificent game. He was given a job to do by Graham Corns. When he was sent off the ball to full back, he absolutely closed that position right out for Norwood. It was a brilliant move by Corns. And for North Adelaide, it was a brilliant move by Corns, and I think that that's the reason why Glenelg beat North Adelaide.
Well, Dick, Tony Simons, anytime there's a camera around, Tony's a little hard not to find, and he wanted to have the opportunity to interview you, so go for it, Tony.
Well, thank you, Max. I'm seated in here at the SIS 10 studios with former strict disciplinarian, now legend, Dick Jones, captain and coach of the West Torrens Football Club, 57 and 58.
Who'd he drag?
Bob Hank.
Okay.
Of course, I was only a little fella then.
I still am.
No, Dick, you are a legend, let's face it. And speaking of them, there's 21 of them here today. Dick, tell us a little bit about your career as a commentator. We all know your feats on the field and off, on the bench squad. And, you know, how does the commentating game... Do you feel involved in the game as you did when you were coaching?
Well, not actually physical involvement, because you fellas would go too fast for me now, Tony. And incidentally, congratulations on your game yesterday. It was magnificent. But
thank you, Dick. Look, let's not talk about that. This is a big opportunity for me. Dick, West Torrens, the future, where do you see it?
At West Torrens.
I see West Torrens' future in combining with West Adelaide. And I also, I think there's got to be the rationalisation of clubs. I think we've got too many clubs in South Australia, Tony, and that's how I see West Torrens' future.
Oh, Dick, that is the word, rationalisation.
That's right.
Is rationalisation the answer?
Not really. I think we've got to get the quality of player. Glenelg got the quality of player.
Dick, Fewings Oval, a goer?
I think you'd have to ask the Theventon Council about that. There's a few dollars involved in it.
Well, as you all know, in Adelaide, we are constantly searching for football personalities. And I can honestly say that Dick Jones is one of the biggest personalities we've got in this game. And if we ever do lose Dick Jones, it'll be a sad and unjust happening. Dick, you're a legend. Put it there, buddy. Thank you.
No, mate, Dick. Tony and Dick, we're going to take another break and we'll be back right after this. Neil Curley there, looking as happy as ever. First time I've seen him crack for a smile, actually. Let's go over to Bomber Clifford once again, and who have you got there, Bomber?
Yes, here we have, it's a bit hard to act to follow Tony Symes. We've got a very, very quiet achiever, so the boys tell me. Michael Murphy. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bob.
Is it true that Doug Thomas gave you clearance? Is that true?
I don't know what Doug did, but...
No, it's not what Doug did, it's what Michael did.
I didn't like West anyway.
You didn't like West anyhow. You sat on the bench yesterday and come on. What do you think of the feeling when you ran onto the ground knowing you were 5 goals up and the game was more or less won? How'd you feel then?
Oh, it was a really good feeling. All the guys who have played the last 3 or 4 years, I know how much they wanted to win it. For guys like Super and Tony and Stephen, it was really good, and I was just proud to be part of it.
Yeah, you mentioned that you went through North Adelaide last night pinching garden gnomes. Could you enlighten me on what that means?
Actually, I don't know what happened there. I went home early.
Someone told me Mickey Noonan was kidnapped. I don't think that's true. I shouldn't say that. But you ended up at High Street. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Someone told me you put toast in a bar heater. Is that true?
No, as I said before, I went home early to watch a video, and the other guys were in the High Street.
So you're not giving yourself away, are you?
No, not at all.
If Chris McDermott could come over here for a second, there's Glenelg have got these T-shirts out. If you get a close-up of Chris' chest, you'd probably need a close-up to find it. He's not as well built as me, of course, but side view, these T-shirts are going on sale, or they're on sale anyhow at Wayne Stringer Sports Store at Jetty Road, Glenelg. They're about, how much are they, mate? $12 plus tax. So all you Glenelg supporters, personally I wouldn't wear one crabbing, but all you Glenelg supporters, get down there and buy a few T-shirts and support the club. Is there anything else you'd want to say, boys, while I'm here? Schooner. Back to you, Max.
Thanks very much, Bomber, and as you can see, 2 very important men that played a big part in yesterday's game. Of course, Laurie Argent and Rick Kinnear. Gentlemen, thanks for coming along. And firstly, Laurie, that's a lovely jumper. Did you borrow that off? Yeah, but
it's got the same shade of pink. Yeah. It belongs to Rick Kinnear's wife. And I was sitting there very cold, and I said that I wanted something warm, so...
Hey, hang on, I'm here too. Now you have... There are actually a few people you'd like to interview, you've told us.
There's Graham Corns for one.
Graham Corns. Graham, could you pop up here? Also, I think Alan Stringer. and Peter Carey. Could you 3 guys just pop up here? The boys would like to have a quick chat with you.
Where to?
Oh, right, in here. Just in here, Graham.
Cornsy, I'd just like to reflect back to the incident with Tony Antrobus. And as I raced across the boundary in front of the grandstand there, as Tony was attacked for the 12th time for the game, this is in the first quarter, and I rushed across there and he got hit in the head and hit in the back, all the rest of it.
No, this is serious.
This is dead serious.
Yeah.
I played the free kick right in front of the coach's box at the Glenelg Football Club. And what did Graham Corns come out and say?
Well, for about the 4th time, it was an unfair free kick where he held onto the ball.
That's only from Laurie's point of view.
No, I thought you were very good there. And 2 of our guys had played perfectly legitimate and fair tackles. He fell on the ball and wouldn't hold. He gave around the neck.
What were you doing with the medical box in your hand?
I was trying to find something to throw at you.
By the time I did, you were too far away.
I never backed off so quick in my life.
I guess I was just so angry.
Alan Stringer, where's Alan?
Thanks.
Guys, what was it like out there yesterday?
Well, it was very intense. It was a tremendous grand final, it really was, and all due credit, to the Glenelg Footy Club. They played great football. They kept their minds.
Not much help from you though.
We thought there might have been a few yikes a little bit earlier, but the boys saved us up for the third quarter. But, no, it was good. It was great.
He can talk, can't he?
Yeah,
he can talk.
Now, you're the umpire they tell me about that's got the big smile all the time.
Is that right? I don't know.
You've had to adjust your smile?
No. I never adjust anything, no.
Nothing at all?
No.
All right.
Just love smiling.
Ask him about Gibbsy's mark and all that. Well, Gibbsy, you there, mate? Where's Gibbsy?
Gibbsy's just around there.
Ask Gibbsy about... Where is he? Come here, mate.
2 weeks in a row now.
Come here.
Come here, Gibbsy, come on.
Where the mark of the last quarter?
Cross Gibbs, everyone.
What's happened? Ask Rick about that mark. You got penalised for the last quarter.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on. I thought, Andrews has come in, I stood in my spot, and then all of a sudden he's fallen over or whatever, and you've taken it off. It's happened to me 2 weeks in a row now. Like this one, they reckon I put my hands on the back and all that bloody... What game were you at yesterday? Eh?
You there? He was right. He didn't do a damn thing. And you penalised him for it.
No way.
I go up to the police tomorrow and Gibbs says, what was that for? I said, damn, you're right,
It's troubling getting the umpires to agree on something. That's possibly good to see. Well, firstly, we'd like to thank the Glenelg Football Club for all turning up today, and we're a little bit worried, and thanks very much to everyone who played a part in this. And before I get ice all over me, we'll leave you with some more spectacular highlights.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of hard work's been put into it, and I know that from my own point of view, not only will it work.
But it's wonderful to know when I'm at the end. It's over. There you are, the end of the show. Your memory, but it's wonderful to know at the end. Thank you very much.
us again at the same time next week for another edition of Sports Scene. But stay with us now for the Magnificent Seven with Gilberton, Steve McQueen and Charles Bronson, to be followed by Tarzan and the Lost Safari.
Sports Scene was brought to you by Eustace Mitsubishi, Edwardstown and Brighton.
There's magic in a Solomon's carpet.
You always pay less.
So very much.